What's going on, everyone? UCLA basketball preview here, and of course it's pretty exciting. It's basketball season coming up again. It's going to be interesting. This Pac-12 conference is pretty parity prone, pretty balanced. Everybody lost people. A lot of key people lost in this conference. It's a joke of a conference for the most part, hoops-wise, but it'll be interesting. UCLA is considered the preseason favorite, but that means nothing. College preseason rankings, basketball, nothing. It means nothing. It's just what people think. People want to vote on things by name. I really don't know if this team is really the best team in the conference. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on this team for sure. Of course, the technical details this season will be played away from Pauley Pavilion all year. Of course, we know the inside is getting its renovation. And then, of course, they're playing, I think, at the LA Forum. They're playing at the Honda Center. Got to play at the Memorial Arena or something like that. I think it's where the Lakers played before playing in the Forum back in the 60s. And they're playing all these games closer to USC's campus than the UCLA campus. That's how ridiculous this is. Pauley Pavilion would look nice in a year. Still rest in peace to the great legend John Wooden. He would have been 101. I know his 101th birthday was about a month ago. Still miss him, of course, but he's always in our hearts no matter what. Anyways, this season's going to bank on the front court and the defense. The front court should be very good. Josh Smith, one of the best centers in the nation. You got Reeves Nelson, who's back. Got a nice shooting touch. I expect Anthony Stover to play well on defense as well. But also on the front court, we welcome the Ware twins, David and Travis Ware. High expectations from these North Carolina rejects, if you want to call it. I don't know how good they are. There was a lot of hype for them going into college, but they've been flat since being Tar Heels, and a lot of expectations on them. I hope to see a good front court from them. Brendan Lane, of course, will fill out the depth chart as well, another guy who's serviceable down low. Now, here's where it gets complex. The small forward position used to be Tyler Honeycutt, used to be power forward sometimes. He's in the NBA. Well, he's technically unemployed because of the lockout, so nice going, NBA. Two players that were really dumb to declare, declared for the draft and hired an agent, Malcolm Lee being the other. They're not even employed right now. That's horrible. The guard play needs to get better if this team wants to be great or wants to have some relevance because, the shooting guard position was good under Lee. It was growing. But Malcolm Lee's gone. He provided some of the best defense for us. Tyler Lamb, a lot of pressure on this guy. He had some hype coming out, but he didn't do a whole lot off the bench. He wasn't very impressive. He needs to step his game up offensively if he's going to be the starting shooting guard. To back up him, there will be Norman Powell, Jeremy Anderson, and De'End Parker, the new guys. Parker and Powell, of course. De'End Parker, I think, is a JUCO. I don't know much about those two, the two new guys with this team. I don't. I'm not going to know too much about them until the season rolls around. At point guard, you got Lazarick Jones, who's very serviceable. I'm fine with him at point guard, no problems there. Anderson will probably back him up a little bit. But it does hurt to know that Tyler Honeycutt and Malcolm Lee are not with this team no longer. If they were back, we would have all 5 starters returning, and we would be the unanimous favorite at the Pac-12 favorite. I would have much more confidence saying that. With that being said, though, I, as of right now, do not. And it's kind of in between. This team, they would jump out to nice leads, and then they would let it trickle away. And then they would somehow pull away late and make it more dramatic than it needs to be. They were undefeated when they were up by double digits at any point in the game. Even if they blew a lead late, they would always come back or pull away near the end and win. It was ugly. They got to work on finishing games better. Even though last year they didn't and still won. It could get ugly if they don't do that. The defense, that's Ben Howland's specialty. He's supposed to be good at that. I need to see very good defense down the road. Much, much better defense. I hope to see much more of that. The non-conference slate has Texas. That's like the only big opponent. You have I think we have a tournament as well. Haven't looked into the details yet, but it starts this Friday. And then the Pac-12, just briefly looking over the Pac-12. They lost, Arizona lost their star player, of course, who's also in the NBA. Thanks a lot. They have some good players coming back to reload. Sean Miller's a good coach. They're expected to reload. They might be a little down compared to last year, but they'll still be good. Washington, They lost some key guys as well. Isaiah Thomas, of course, being one of the big ones, but he's unemployed as well. Washington's expected to reload, having guys like Abdul Gaddy, for example. And then, of course, the guys who are on the rise. You got Arizona. Sorry, not Arizona. You got Cal. Cal's expected to be back after a down season. They had rebuilding year. Mike Montgomery's expected to work some magic because a lot of guys are coming back for Cal. They're expected to be on the rise. I see Oregon as the biggest sleeper for this conference. Dana Altman did a good job in his first year with Ernie Kent's players. There's a lot of talent that Ernie Kent brought to this team, but it's either he failed to develop them or they just flat out sucked under him. I think Oregon will be a lot better as the team. The coach who could get fired is Craig Robinson for Oregon State. That guy could be, he's had some nice recruits, but he hasn't had any winning. It's been, I expected Jared Cunningham and the rest of the guys to be better, but all they've done with Beaver basketball is Cunningham can dunk. That's about all that's done for the highlight reels. Some other teams, Stanford has recruits, but I don't know about much else. Dawkins is a good assistant. They need to start winning again. I know there's some pressure on him. Colorado had a decent year last season in the Big 12. Utah's had some good seasons. Of course, they have developed a #1 draft pick overall in Andrew Bogut in the past historically. Looking at the other teams, Wazoo kind of in the middle. They still missed Bennett out in Virginia. Bennett was a great coach for them. And then USC, they'll be at least competitive. I don't know about winning a lot, but they'll be at least competitive. Arizona State, Herb Sendek, not sure what's going on out there. They were pretty bad last season. They can only go up from there. But UCLA has the most talent coming back, and it's based on their front court. That's probably why we're voted as the Pac-12 favorites. And, my goal would be to reach the Sweet 16 with what we have. I think the guard play is going to be a little rough, realistically. We could win the Pac-12. I do think we have a very good chance, but we're not the unanimous favorites because we lost a couple guys. This conference is parity-prone. It's very vulnerable. It's very weak. I could only see, realistically, 4 teams at the most making the dance with this conference. It's so sad, but it's downright comical at the same time. I love my hoops, my basketball hoops. It's good to see this sport back, of course. Seeing that the NBA is locked out, this is the only way you can watch your basketball outside of the high school level. So, let me know what you guys think. UCLA basketball finally coming back, even though it's not back in Pauley Pavilion. We got a new season on the rise and coming. I hope to see a lot of wins. I hope to see some great playing under Ben Howland, and I hope to see us keep winning. We'll see y'all later, and go Bruins.